Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So Wonder apparently responded to the Illuminati drama and decided he was going to put his hat in the ring, give his side of the story. If you like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe. I always appreciate it. Smaller YouTuber like this. Yeah, it goes a long way. It really does. And every single one of you, I really do appreciate you. Let's get to the video. Alright, we're on Wonder's channel right now, and this is the response to the Illuminati exposed and all that other drama going on right now. Personally, I've been very interested in figuring out how she controlled his living situation, because that's all behind the scenes, and that's that personal effect where we don't know what the manipulation was really like, and I'm glad that he's able to actually talk about that right here.
Whether you've known me in the past for my content or a friend or neither, you're probably here to watch and hear the other side of a story involving me and my former colleagues that came out this week. As you can already tell, my eyes are very much drifting off the screen. That is because I have put together a script so I can kind of keep my thoughts in line. It's not to say I don't feel genuine about any of this, it's just I need these kind of things to keep my brain from being erratic and going anywhere.
It's very telling that everybody who's had to respond to the Illuminati and the mess that she has made for everyone, the fact that they have to organize their thoughts in written form when these people seem like pretty off-the-cuff creators tells you a lot about how they have to make sure that this story is properly contextualized and that they give their side. And they've probably filtered through this quite a bit so that way they don't sound inflammatory or overtly offensive or like they're attacking somebody, and they're just giving out the facts. And I'm glad they're getting to talk about it. I really am.
This type of stuff makes me highly uncomfortable, but it is something that needs to be said. A couple days ago, a creator, a former friend, and an employer named by Blair, aka Illuminati, made a video discussing a few controversial topics she'd been the spotlight of. After discussing her first two controversies in her video, she moved on towards another topic, a group channel by the name of Sad Milk, accusations against a former member, and lastly, me. Now, I would like to say that the beginning of the Sad Milk discussion does begin with a former member known by The Click who came forward to express his experiences with Blair and how he did not want to associate with her. Upon seeing a former member come forward, I felt the strong emotional urge to speak out on my experiences with Blair. I had kept quiet for 2 years out of fear and NDA threats, but seeing Click come forward and kind of stick his foot in that pool and that fear allowed me the emotional strength I needed to come forward with a story of my own.
See, this is when you see someone else taking a stand and it brings you a level of support and strength where you feel confident enough to come forward with your half of the story. Again, I'm very happy that these guys have been able to, that the whole Sad Milk team has been able to come out and express their experience in all of this. It all started because Illuminati wanted to run her mouth again, and this time she got checked. I wish it could have happened sooner, that these people were able to speak their story and find some level of, what's the word I'm looking for here? What is the word I'm looking for? God, it's not comfort. Closure. I'm glad these guys were able to get some closure from all this.
You can also find a follow-up twit longer after she had made her video in the description, as well as a Google Drive where I'll be providing my evidence as presented in the video. It brought a lot of pain front and center, but since Blair has made this information known, I will be providing receipts for that topic as well. So while initially I was anecdotal, today I'm going to show you every receipt I have that not only combats, disproves, or proves my claims, but also debunks her narrative that my friend, Oz Media, has been supporting her throughout this. I'd like to keep these screenshots up for a moment for you to read at your own discretion. There will also be a link to it down below. I believe when you want people to know the truth and form opinions of either side, you should come forward with both stories. It's why I don't harbor any hatred or resentment towards anyone who holds a negative opinion of me after watching her video.
That was a long thread, a lot of comments. I will read them all in the future if you would all like that in a video, but that was a lot, and there's a lot of video to come, as you can see. Give me some level of hint that that's what you'd like, because I'll do it, but jeez, when you need to get something off your chest, you need to get something off your chest.
And even after this, if you don't like me or agree with me, I have a personal bias, obviously, because it involves me, but I'll respect your opinion nonetheless. Whether you hate someone or not, to bring up someone's personal mental health as an arguing point is quite frankly a low blow, and it's not your story to tell. If anyone's going to explain my mental health, it is personally going to be me.
The comment that's posted on the screen right now, I'm assuming was from Wonder. The quote starts, "This trip was not to discuss me moving out to Colorado. The trip was for the SM Christmas video that we filmed in November. Me and another member had talked about moving to Colorado due to us wanting to do live SM content. Blair had been speaking of getting into real estate and wanted to build homes for us. This did not extend to just me. She wanted to build a home for another member and I as well as one for Oz to have a separate recording space. This means Blair would have been the landlord to 3 other Sad Milk, I'm assuming members, not just me. After our final member left at the end of December, I was the last person on the list to become a tenant. Here's proof of the trip being for Sad Milk and the existence of the cul-de-sac for SM members. This is I'm assuming, Discord message from Illuminaughtii on 12/20/2020 at 10:20. Wow, that's weird. Anyway, observe home plans and decide. Then there's an HTTPS web link right there. Below that, there's a comment saying, choice and luxury starting in at high. There are 5 accommodating floor plans to explore and will no doubt fill your imagination with all the possibilities. And then there's a read more section. And then below that says, since cul-de-sac is out. So I'm assuming this was Illuminaughtii posting a link towards other homes for them to live in that could keep her particular dream alive in this instance.
Ozmedia and I had just moved into his newly purchased home in April 2021, and he decided to welcome Wonder into his house. Unless Ozmedia was doing so without my understanding, Wonder was not charged any rent, utilities, or internet for sharing our living space.
Yes, we had actually discussed a payment plan for rent. What Blair leaves out, and what I find very perplexing as to why she left out in her video, is that the reason I didn't pay rent was because I was going to become Blair's tenant. When I first had the discussion of moving to Colorado, it was because Blair wanted to get her hands into the real estate market and wanted to build a home.
Talk about trying to put your fingers in too many pies. This bitch had claws out trying to take whatever she could. And don't get me wrong, I always believe that you should take what opportunities you can. But still, when it comes to shit like this, how is this justifiable when you really do take a step back and look at this, especially from a third-party point of view where you have nothing really invested in her or this Sad Milk community or anything like that other than maybe being a channel member or a viewer? She was essentially trying to be like an old world oil baron where she owned both your land, your home, and the local stores. So anything that you bought, most of that money's coming back to her. You know what I mean?
I made a reasonable first tenant. I was someone she knew, and I obviously made income, so kind of put 2 and 2 together. I sincerely do not understand why the conception of this home was never presented in the video. It leaves out a massive gap of context. The home I was told would be finished by August and that I could stay the summer. And the last month before moving to Colorado, after finalizing my lease, I was informed that the home would be pushed back until December. This made me highly uncomfortable.
The DM from Wonder here says, I know I said I was cool with it, but if I'm being real, I am somewhat uneasy about staying until December. I didn't want to say anything since I was worried I'd sound rude, since you two have been nothing but generous to me. I just am worried that I am in a place for 6 months that I'll be hella distracted. I'm such an independent person, so it'll feel weird to be downstairs in somebody else's house for so long. It's probably just something I need to work through. I do still want to move to Colorado, just letting you know where my head is at. In a text post at the very top, Wonder here decided to say, this was the post moved during June, more on this later. Here's the comment, or here's the post. I also just like miss feeling independent, and living rent-free for 6 months, which I did not sign up for, is making me feel like a burden and sick. I really feel like I'm losing touch with myself, and I'm not sure who I am at the moment.
I have never had someone else pay my rent once in my life, and I have been living on my own since I was 18. To try to paint me as a freeloader when you also leave out that I was originally only supposed to stay until August, you were supposed to be my landlord, and that I only stayed 30 days in Colorado feels like a contorted attack on who I am as a person. I tried at every possible turn to earn my keep, and when I felt alienated, I tried to actively find an apartment in Colorado Springs to give them both the space, as I felt horrible, seemingly never being able to help in any way at all. It was beyond unfair. I made every effort to not be a burden, as it is quite frankly one of my biggest fears in my entire life. I wasn't there when Blair called 911 to send authorities to my home, but depending on her wording, it could have gone very wrong. To tell authorities there is a mentally unwell man with a weapon, that can go so very bad, so very fast. Yes, I did send Blair that heated message because I was indeed heated. It wasn't a bluff. I had nothing to gain from this. I was at the end of what I could handle as a person. So to share this sensitive moment with the world, I don't understand what the end goal is. When I took to Twitter in my initial thread, I posted a photo that shows the disaster of a room. When Blair saw this, she had a pretty convincing switch around for this image. She claimed I went into a room that was being used for storage after they moved into their home, and that I was told to not go into this room ever.
This was a room that we told you we were using to move, and we let you know it was off limits to you. That photo alone shows your consistent lack lack of respect for Oz's and my boundaries.
She goes as far to even do an image breakdown analysis of the room itself to prove this image. I don't understand how she didn't notice that the bed on the bottom left was not purchased until 2022, a year after I left Colorado.
That's funny. It's like, oh, you're going to go through all this detail just to analyze pictures, basically make things up, doll it up, edit whatever you have to. And you got to love how zoomed in those pictures are. I mean, let's look at this real quick. Okay, there's the room itself, right? Right? Look at how zoomed in that is. Like, I don't care what your story is. Those are clearly edited. Something makes me think she got a little bit too self-conscious about it and was like, I need to clean this up, maybe.
If you look here, you will see that I actually never set foot in that room. These are the living conditions of Oz Media's home after Blair moved back in. Conditions he was embarrassed by. Boxes, trash, cups of mold, all sent to me again 2 years after I left Colorado.
That's horrendous shit right there. Look at that cup. What the hell? Like, I'm sorry, that's disgusting. I have never seen, and that's like a to-go cup too. How do you not just throw that away? Like, I get you kind of just let it pile up after a couple days. That is absolutely disgusting.
And this is my proof that once more, I never set foot in that room, nor did I have malicious intent when I lived there. Blair embarrassed Oz, not me. In the video, I touch on an image I shared to Twitter involving the living conditions of your home while Blair was an active tenant. She claims these conditions were due to her being in the process of a move, and that I took these images with intent to embarrass the both of you. Would you be, in your own words, willing to shed light on these claims?
That was like the condition of living with Blair. Like that's always how it has been. No matter how many times cleaning was attempted, it always ended up becoming that level of mess. There was no cleaning in that house. It was always a disaster. No matter how many times attempts were made, it would take less than a week or two for things to re-messify. Yeah, some of it was mine as well, but the thing was there was never a home for, like, right now the house is actually, house is pretty clean right now. I can show pictures of that, but there was no clean. It was always like that. It wasn't just one room, it was every room. There was no cleaning. It just felt useless. And she would never help with cleaning. It was always me. I was always the one breaking down all 800 of her Amazon boxes. I was always the one doing anything cleaning wise. It just felt like I was there to clean up her mess.
Tell me you haven't met someone like that in your life, because I know I have at least 3. They just keep piling up and piling up and piling up, and you're just sitting there like, I just want to be able to walk through this space. That's all I want. It's nothing complicated. It's nothing even severe. I would like to be able to have a solid path through to the house. And on top of that, I'd like to at least be able to see my floor. I could not imagine living with this woman and not exploding. There would be no level of calm or collected I'd be able to have after this happened for 3 to 6 months. Like, I'd lose my shit. Because how do you not lose your patience with someone who clearly doesn't respect yours or even their own space?
So you can confirm that I never once was in there or took that photo. Well, I guess you can't confirm that I wasn't in that room, but can you confirm that I was not the person who took this photo?
For starters, the mess that I took the photo of wasn't even the same mess that existed in that room when you lived there. It was a very different mess. That wasn't even the same mess. It was me who took that photo because I was trying to both, for my sanity, catalog what the house looked like before I started cleaning, as well as just for my sake, just like have proof that this was the case.
Oz and I used to be fairly close before Colorado. After the events that took place, we had officially turned against each other, and I didn't understand why he and Blair did what they did, because for 2 years I believed it was both of their doing as to why I went through what I did. However, one morning as I was getting ready for work, I received this message from Oz Media in the early hours.
The message reads, from Oz Media. I'm sorry for everything, a year and a half too late, I know. I'm next, apparently, and I'm sorry. Just for everything, man. I should have seen it. I should have seen writing on the wall, but I ignored it in hopes that I was wrong. I saw you unblocked me. I hope deep down that you knew this might happen and gave me a door to open. I might be wrong, but please, I effed up. If you would ever listen to me and hear me out, I would thank the world. And then below that, after 2:35 a.m. Geez, he sent that at 2:35 a.m.? Homie really needed to talk. And then below that it says, I was an idiot, man. Blair played me and I fucked up and I fucking fell for it.
Of 2:35 a.m., January 6, 2023. I was highly skeptical, which I made note of. But
he responded with, Hey Oz, I appreciate you reaching out. I think I and a lot of other people as well know firsthand just how convincing and vile Blair can be. I'm sending this to let you know that I'm not ignoring this message. I hope you can understand the sheer intensity of you reaching out, and I need time to think of a clear, level-headed response. Be well, I'll get back to you soon.
But I listened, and as we began to talk once again, we started to connect the dots and find so much context that had been left out between us. I was still very much on edge with my trust, but over the last few months, Oz has made countless efforts to prove not only to me, but to every other former Sad Milk member that he truly was sorry for the role he played in anything that took place. I don't blame him for his role. He was in an abusive situation and had every reason to fear Blair. I feared her too for a very long time. For over a year, I watched one of my best friends slowly wither and question everything in his work ethic for his beloved channel fade away.
She gaslit the hell out of these guys. She really is fucked up. These young men had to go through this just to try to be content creators and live with like-minded people in an environment that's more comfortable for them. And then it turned out to be one of the most uncomfortable situations imaginable.
At the end of Blair's video, she has what appears to be a heartfelt cry regarding your friendship. This section is roughly 3 minutes. She goes into detail about you, Casper, better times, and involves hobbies, etc. Would you like to share your thoughts on what you felt or thought when you first saw this?
I've watched her build those tears up on multiple occasions, whether it's she forgot she had a prior engagement, so she built up tears and said, I have to take Casper to the vet and I'm very scared, so I won't be able to make it, or for talking to other content creators that she's had issues with of welling up those tears for apologies, for talking with employees, for talking with me or her roommates. It's something that I have watched her do on numerous occasions. If they were genuine, I mean, there's that, but I have a really hard time believing it.
Yeah, because how can you believe crocodile tears when you've literally watched them be made by the creature that you've been attacking people repeatedly. She's just biting the hands that are helping to feed to feed her and themselves.
And considering when I did post my thread on Twitter and I did make the comments that I made, the tone that she had in messages was night and day. What I'm trying to say is that the tone that she had in the end of her video was not the tone that she had with me behind the scenes. The tone that she had with me behind the scenes was very much accusing. A few vague threats were thrown in there, which I don't want to go into details on because I just, for me personally, with how I see all of this, I don't want to make a response video. This might hopefully be where my response is.
I've seen and heard what this individual has put this man through, and it is simply unfair to have included this section in the video. I can only hope that from here on out, Oz can find the peace and passion for not only his work, but the life he so rightfully deserves. I'd like to say one more time, thank you for everything you made right, Oz. You are generally a really good guy.
Oz did what he thought was right there in the end, and before that he was just trying to survive the same fucked up mess everyone else was trying to survive in that group. The whole Sad Milk team, they could have had something really amazing going on. To my understanding, there was a real community that enjoyed their content, and Blair just had to fuck that all up, didn't she? You just have that one cornerstone person that's and now I'm going to poison everything. I'm going to be the most toxic human being I can imagine being. I'm going to try to become a dictator over this whole situation, which then leads to so much essentially pain for these guys, for everyone involved, that the recovery process literally requires them to be able to speak out about this and be able to respond and essentially hold solidarity with each other.
I hope that what I was able to provide today brought some context and clarity for anyone who wanted to know the full scope and both sides of the story that was presented online over the last few weeks.
God knows no one should ever collaborate with her again. It just makes things worse. Her own team should, she has her own team because they're essentially a little Illuminati cult, but still, No, I know what side I'm on. I know what my opinion is. And you guys did the right thing in my eyes.
I'd like to personally thank my boyfriend who has helped me keep my head on straight for this entire ordeal, as I know this has also been extremely hard on them to deal with as well. So if you already can't tell, I'm exhausted. It's 5:41 in the morning. I haven't been able to sleep in roughly a week. I just want to take some time to relax, take just a little bit of a break from content.
All right. Well, as you can see, that was the video, and that was Wonder's response to all of this. I do genuinely hope that he gets to relax. He needs to take a break away from content because with all this that has been going on and the effects it's been having over the last few years, this weight off his shoulders, he needs to be able to enjoy this. So I hope him and his boyfriend are able to have a nice enjoyable, relaxing time. Go get a nice dinner, enjoy a bottle of wine, go to a beach. Well, no, they're in Colorado. Well, go for a day trip. I don't know. Just have a good time, you know? Either way, I hope you enjoyed the video. I did. I thought this was a wonderful response and very well organized. Even if it doesn't have the quality that he was maybe used to having or maybe used to producing, I do still believe that this is very well composed. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. If you did, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. Have yourselves a good day.